If you think it's foolish to compare Oklahoma point guard Trae Young to NBA two-time MVP, two-time NBA champion Steph Curry, then I'll just give you 7 reasons why this comparison might be a little closer than you think. Here's the obvious reason. He can shoot like Steph Curry. Now, though I believe Steph Curry is a better pure shooter than Trae Young, it's close. So far during Trae Young's freshman season at Oklahoma, he's shooting about 39% from the three-point line. Steph Curry was around 40% during his freshman year. They both do a great job of getting the ball out of their hands immediately. Both have the ability to shoot off balance, and if you allow them the opportunity to spot up, they're both deadly. All right, second reason, he's by far a better playmaker than what Steph was his whole 3 seasons at Davidson. Numbers don't lie. Steph Curry didn't look to pass the ball as much as Trae does. Maybe you can make the argument that because Steph played for a much smaller school, he had to do more. I'll give you that. But if you truly watch Oklahoma play, Trae Young not only has no problem sharing the rock with his teammates, he's sometimes making plays that his teammates simply can't see. Trae leads the nation in assists at 10.1 a game. Reason number 3, let's just state the obvious in the room. Trae's better than what Steph was as a freshman. Like I previously stated, Trae leads the country in assists at 10 a game, but also leads the nation in points per game. He's nearly averaging 30. He's almost 4 points per game ahead of the next guy on the list. Steph only averaged 21.5 a game his freshman year, and at his best during his junior year, right before he went to the league, Steph averaged 28.6. Trae Young's 0.6 higher than that at 29.2. The fourth reason why this is a close comparison is the look. Trae has the Steph Curry look. They're both fairly light-skinned guys. They're both fairly skinny. They appease to a typical liked image. If you're going to act like that's not a real thing, you're only lying to yourself. They're both not tall point guards at all. And I believe when these young kids see guys, they don't look at themselves as somebody who could ever be physically capable of reaching LeBron James status, but they could be a Steph Curry or a Trae Young. Skinny, can shoot the ball. The fifth reason is Trae has mastered the Steph humbleness. All right, let's be honest. If you're averaging 30 and 10 and almost guaranteed to be a top 5 pick in the upcoming NBA draft, you could understand why someone would start to get a little arrogant. Not Trae. Every post-game interview I've seen, the brother goes out of his way to give credit to his teammates for not only doing their part, but making his life easier as a scorer and not allowing double teams to come his way the entire game. When asked a month ago by Scott Van Pelt on SportsCenter, what did he think about getting compared to Steph Curry at such a young age, Young replied with, "I try to take a little bit from a lot of guys, but I feel the best comparison right now is Trae Young. I want to be the best version of myself, and I love that comparison the best." There's no better way to answer a question at the age of 18, 19 than how Trae responded to that one. Another reason, Trae is also unafraid of the moment. After the first few games, his name started to bubble around the radars of scouts, coaches, and college fans, and he's ready for the spotlight. In Young's last 14 games, let me read off some of his stats. He's put up 22 and 13, 28 and 5, 33 and 8, 43 and 7, 32 and 10, 28 and 8, 29 and 9, 29 and 10, 26 and 22, 31 and 12, 39 and 14, 27 and 10, 29 and 5, 27 and 9, and 43 and 11. And that leads me to my final reason. Without a shadow of a doubt, Trae is playing better competition than Steph. That is not even a real debate. Those numbers previously mentioned, well, 6 of those games were against ranked teams, 4 against schools that were top 10 at the time. No disrespect to Davidson, but the hoop standard is a little bit higher at a school like Oklahoma. All right? You think it's too soon to compare Trae Young to Steph? Well, shoot, what did Steph Curry have to say about these comparisons? In a recent interview with ESPN, Steph said Trae's unbelievable. Just the confidence that he plays with, I call it flair. But it seems like he always is composed and knows what he's trying to do with the ball in his hands. He shoots a lot of deep threes and has creativity to his game that's cool to watch. The comparisons are what they are. I know when you turn on the game and watch them play, you're just watching him on the floor, where he's at all times. That kind of magnetism is pretty special. Now back to my final take on just Trae Young, the basketball player, and his abilities. If you're a GM and you have a top 5 pick and you're afraid to pick Trae Young because of the possibilities of him being a bust, I'm fine with that, but you better know what you're doing. The way Steph Curry has changed the NBA, participating in 3 straight NBA finals and may be revered as the best shooter of all time right now, and you don't pick this kid who has shown us every sign that even if he doesn't end up better than Steph, but he could be really, really good, and it's in your face, more than Steph was, you deserve to lose your job. As tournament time gets closer and this kid doesn't shrink in the moment, the Steph comparisons will only continue to grow, and if they don't irritate Steph and the game is there, then why should they irritate us? On the next episode of my sports series with the Pharaohs. Look, as many of us believe, LeBron's a great overall human being, so he always knows what not to say and what to say at the right spots. Certain things LeBron will never say just because he has too much respect for the game of basketball. One thing he'll never admit, but I do know this, he's not the biggest fan of playing with Isaiah Thomas, all right? As the Cavs continue to struggle to figure this thing out, that's nothing that I didn't expect. Listen, you implement a guy like Isaiah Thomas